This conference will now be recorded.
So in today's session, we are going to discuss about web services. We will see what exactly a web service, what is the use, how to prepare our own web services, and how can we expose how the third-party people can consume our own web services. We'll see practically. As of now, we have consumed the third-party web services like postal pin code, SMS gateways, weather map APIs. Like we have consumed the third-party web services into our Salesforce instance. But now we are creating our own web services which can be consumed by the third-party people. Okay, which can be consumed by the third-party people. Then how can we implement our own web services? We'll see practically. How can we expose and how can we test these web services? We'll see practically. Then first of all, we have to understand what exactly a web service. So what do you mean by a web service? Now, let me explain. Web services are simple concept, okay, not typical. For example, assume that I have prepared a class. For example, I have a class. Public class accounts helper. I have a class. Inside this class, I'm having some methods. Public, static, void, get accounts. There is a method which is having some business logic. I have a class with the name accounts helper, and inside this class, I'm having a method called as get accounts. Now, this method will be collecting all the account records available inside my account object. So this is the method that we have. So now here in this case, this is the class we have, and this is the method that we have right now. So which is a public class. So now tell me up to what level we can access this member. This is my class, which is available inside my Salesforce organization. Okay, this is available inside my Salesforce organization. So this is my Salesforce organization. So this is my Salesforce organization. Inside my Salesforce organization, I'm having a class, which is a public class with the name accounts helper, which is having some method with the name get accounts in order to collect all the account records available inside my account object. Now, so now tell me up to what level this class can be accessible. So whatever the class we have prepared, this class can be accessible within the organization only. Because this is a public class can be accessible within the organization, not outside of the organization. Not outside of the organization. So in this case, I want to make this class can be accessible from outside of the organization. Because, for example, I'm having some Salesforce resources. I'm having some set of Salesforce resources are available. Salesforce resources. So what are those Salesforce resources? Let me explain. We are having the various Salesforce resources are available here. Like the first one is the Apex Cube. Second one, the Flex Cube. Third one, some batch programming, like that. So now here, these are the various queues are available here, which is maintaining by Salesforce outside of your organization. So we are having the Apex queue, Flex queue, batch programming. These are the various resources are available, which are also part of Salesforce. But these are not available within the organization. These are available outside of your organization. In this case, how can we make this class can be accessible from the outside of the organization? Outside of the organization means what? By using that Salesforce resources. Any of my Salesforce resource can consume, any of my Salesforce resource can access my functionality here. In this case, how can we do that? If you want to make your class can be accessible from the outside of your organization by any of these Salesforce resources, then we have to make this a class as global. Okay, we have to make this a class as global. So we are defining this class as global. I'm defining a global class, and then this class can be accessible within the organization and outside of the organization also. This class can be accessible within the organization and outside of the organization also. This class can be accessible over here. Now, so in this case, this class can be accessible from outside of the organization, and this member also can be accessible from outside of the organization. You can access it. So, but in some cases, whatever the class that I have prepared and whatever the method that I have prepared, this class and the method I want to make it accessible from the third-party applications also. I'm having some set of third-party applications are available. I'm having some set of third-party applications. Like for example, I'm having some banking systems. I'm having some SAP applications. I'm having some Java-based applications. I'm having some Java-based applications. I'm having the third-party systems like Siebel systems. I'm having some PeopleSoft application. I'm having some Oracle database. Like that, here we have so many third-party applications are available. Now, I want to make my class can be accessible from the third-party applications also. Not only from the Salesforce resources, so I would like to make this class can be accessible from the third-party applications also. At that time, we have to use the help of services. Then what do you mean by a web service? Simply nothing but a class. What it contains? Business logic. Class contains what? Business logic. So as of now, we have prepared the class. Okay, as of now, we have prepared the class. Within the class, we have prepared some methods. Inside the methods, we have written some business logic. Okay, we have written some business logic inside the class that can be accessible within the organization also, from outside of the organization also by using Salesforce resources. But now what I want to do is I want to make this a business logic can be accessible from third-party systems also, third-party applications also, like some Java applications, mainframe applications, banking systems, financial systems. At that time here, I want to make this class as a web service. I have to make that class can be accessible from third-party applications also with the help of web services. So now in this case, what do you mean by a web service? Web service contains a collection of business logic. Okay, web service is nothing but a custom business logic here. This is nothing but a custom business logic, so which will be available on the web. Which will be available on the web means what? Through internet, the people can able to consume, they can access it. Not only from my Salesforce resources, third-party applications also can be able to access. Now, in this case, when coming to the web service is nothing but a custom business logic which can be accessible from the third-party applications also. That means which is available on the internet, which is available on the web, which can be consumed by any application. It may be Salesforce application also, Java application also, .NET application also, any third-party system also. Everybody can able to access it. That facility is available to you. Then what is the main use of these web services? With the help of these web services, we are going to providing the communication. With the help of these web services, we are providing the communication between the various disparate systems. Between the different disparate systems, we are providing the communication with the help of these web services. So web services are used to provide the communication between the various disparate systems. Disparate systems means what? Different systems which has been developed by using some different programming languages which are running on different platforms. So in this case, in order to provide the communication of your Salesforce application with any third-party systems, we are going to be using the help of web services. Now, so when coming to this web services, these are providing the platform independent communication. Platform independent means what? So now this is Salesforce application and the third party application may not be the Salesforce developed. That means this may be a different application, this may be a different application. Both may be developed by using two different programming languages. Platform independent. Platform independent means what? So now Salesforce is developed by using Apex programming. This banking system has been developed by using Java programming, also anything. Both may be developed by using two different programming languages. So both may be running on two different platforms. And we would like to provide the communication between this application through the help of web services. So web services allows us to provide the communication between the various applications also. So these are providing the platform independent communication. Now, then what is the use of this web service? Web services are used to exposing the data, nothing but records also we can pass from the source application to target application. And we can pass the business logic also and the functionalities also. So we can expose, we can expose the data and the business logic and the functionalities to the third-party application so that the external system can able to consume the records. It can access the records from my Salesforce account also, from my Salesforce organization, and it can able to access the business logics also. It can be able to access the functionalities also. All these things we can able to expose with the help of web services. So that web services are nothing but the custom business logics which can be accessible by the third-party applications, which can be consuming from the third-party applications. Now, so let me give the note point here. Web services. Web service is nothing but the custom business logic which can be accessible by the external systems. Now, in this case, by using web services, we can provide the communication between the different disparate systems, which has been developed by using different programming languages and running on different platforms. By using web services provides the platform independent communication between the applications. Web services provides the platform independent communication between the applications. That means we can able to provide the communication between Salesforce to Java, Java to Salesforce, anything. Like for example, I'm having my Salesforce application. Salesforce application, and then I can able to provide the communication with the help of third-party systems also. There is a Java application. There is a Java application. So with the help of this web services, we can provide the communication between the various applications. Now, any application also, it may be Java, it may be SAP, it may be Salesforce, it may be any other third-party system also, we can provide the communication between the multiple disparate systems with the help of web services. Now, by using web services, we can expose the data, that means records, business logics, and functionalities to the third-party systems. By using web services, we can expose the data, that means records, we can expose the business logics and the functionalities to the third-party applications also. Now, so in this case, whenever we are going to be building that web services, whenever we are building these web services, we have two types of web services available. As part of Apex programming, we are having two types of web services. First one is REST-based web services. Second one is SOAP-based web services. Whenever we are exposing the records or the business logics or the functionalities to the third-party systems, then we can prepare the web services where we can prepare two types of web services. First one is REST-based web services. Second one is SOAP-based web services. Now, by using Apex programming, you can implement the two types of web services. First one is REST-based web services, which is more popular. Second one is SOAP-based web services. REST-based web services. Second one is SOAP-based web services. So these are the two types of web services we can develop as part of your Apex programming. So from these two, REST-based web services are more popular. These are more popular in every application. In every application, especially in the smartphones also, mobile applications also, they're using REST-based. Because REST is very, very lightweight. Okay, REST is very, very lightweight. So which is very easy to parse. For that reason, every application nowadays, every application is going to be using REST-based implementations. Every application is using REST-based implementations. Now, so in this case here, what exactly the REST-based implementation, and then what is the use of this REST-based implementation, how to create the RESTful web services, we'll see practically. REST-based web services or RESTful web services are both are same, no change. Now, in this case, how to implement the REST-based web services? These are also called as Apex REST. These are also called as Apex REST. How can we implement the REST-based web services inside your Apex programming or inside your Salesforce instance, which can be consumed by the third-party application? Now, let's see. Now, so whenever we are going to implement the REST-based web services or RESTful web services, then first of all, we have to understand what exactly is REST. What is the full form? So what is the full form of this REST? And what are the various principles are available as part of this REST-based web services we should be aware of? So in this case, REST stands for representational state transfer. REST stands for representational state transfer. Now, so then what exactly this REST-based web services here? What is the use? By using this REST-based web services, we can able to access the resources over the internet with the help of HTTP protocol. Okay, we can able to access each and every resource over the internet by using the HTTP protocol. Now, in this case, basically, REST is an architectural style. Okay, REST is an architectural style which has been purely built upon HTTP protocol. So now they are using the HTTP protocol internally in order to exchange the data between the disparate systems. Between the disparate systems, the data will be exposing in the form of in the form of either JSON or XML or text format. So which will be transferring the data in the form of either JSON or XML or text format we can able to expose. Now, so now here in this case here. So internally, REST-based web services are using HTTP protocol. Okay, it is internally using HTTP protocol in order to provide the communication between the disparate systems. So now both the applications can communicate with the help of the HTTP protocol because HTTP is very lightweight protocol. So which can able to transfer the data between the multiple applications very easily. Because HTTP protocol can be understandable by all the applications, all the programming languages. Now, so now here in this case, now, so now when coming to the RESTful web services, okay, when coming to the RESTful web services, how can we access each and every RESTful web services? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, by using RESTful web services, we can access the resources over the internet with the help of HTTP protocol. By using that REST, we can access each and every resource over the internet by using that HTTP protocol. So with the help of this HTTP protocol, we can able to access each and every resource with the help of by using that REST API. Now, REST is an architectural style. REST is an architectural style which has been purely built upon HTTP protocol. Which has been purely built upon HTTP protocol. It uses the HTTP protocol internally. To provide the communications. Between the applications. It will be using this. Okay, between the applications, it is using the HTTP protocol to provide the communication. Now, so in this case, how can we identify that REST-based web services? Now, let me explain practically. Now, so let me explain the concept of this REST. How we can prepare that, we'll see practically also. Before that, we have to understand some concept, some background process. How can we access each and every RESTful web service? We'll see practically. Now, for example, I'm developing an employee inventory system. I'm developing an application. I'm developing an application which is an employee inventory system. I'm building an application with the name employee inventory system. I'm developing an application with the name employee inventory system. That means what? When coming to my organization, we are having so many employees are available that are working inside my organization. So to store those employees information, to store those employees information, to store those departments information, to store their payrolls information, salaries information, deductions information, income tax related information, attendance information, everything I would like to use this application. For example, I'm building an application with the name employee inventory system. Now, so now here in this case, as part of this employee inventory system, I'm preparing the various objects. To store these employees information, I'm preparing the various objects. The first object is employee object. Second one, department object. Third one, payroll object. Like that, we are preparing the various objects over here. Okay, various objects. I'm preparing the various objects. So now here I'm having this employee object. Employee object. This is the department object. In which department this employee is working. And this is the payroll object. Nothing but the salaries information is available inside this object here. So as part of this employee object, we are having some fields are available. So we have two fields are available, like the employee ID, employee name. Two fields are available here. As part of department also, we are having this department ID and we have department name. Two fields are available. So these are the fields are available inside this object. ID field and the name field. Two fields are available. And here also ID field and the name field. These are the fields are available inside my object. So now here as part of this object, we're having the various fields. So this is one field. This is one field and this is another field. So I'm having few columns inside my department object also. These are few fields are available inside my department object. So we are having the various objects as part of my inventory system, employee inventory system, which will be having some set of fields. Each and every object is having some set of fields inside this. So now here these are the various objects are available as part of my employee inventory. Now this is an object and these other fields are available inside my object. In my employee object, I'm having few columns are available. In my department object, I'm having few columns are available. These are the various objects and the fields are available. Now, in this case here, as part of this REST implementation, okay, as part of this REST-based implementation, each and every object, each and every field, each and every business logic, each and every functionality will be referred as a resource. Each and every business logic and each and every object will be referred as a resource in REST-based implementation. In REST-based implementation, every functionality, every business logic, and every object will be referred as a resource. Then how can we identify each and every resource? By using a resource name, by using a resource name. So for each and every object, we are going to be identifying a resource. Every object will be referred as a resource. So now these are the resources here. For example, for every object, we are going to be providing a resource name. A resource. I'm giving a resource name over here. So now for my object here, okay, for my object. So this is my employee object that we have. For this object, we can able to provide a resource name. Okay, for every object, we can provide a resource name also. Depends upon your application requirement, we can provide a resource name. So now here in this case, I would like to provide the resource name. I'm giving a resource name over here. I'm giving a resource name. I'm giving the resource name like as employees. Okay, employees. Anything, we can give any name over here, whatever you want. Okay, we can give any name over here. So now here I'm giving the resource name as employees. Okay, we are giving this resource name as employees. For the department here, I'm giving a resource name. For this department object, I'm giving a resource name. Nothing but resource name is nothing but a temporary name, nothing but the alias name which we are providing through which the people can able to access it. Okay, through which the people can able to access it. Because of the security reasons, we are not disclosing the actual name over here. Now, so in this case here, we are going to be giving the resource name. I'm indicating the resource name as branches. Okay, I'm giving the name as branches. Anything you can give, whatever you want, depends upon your application requirement. Now, in this case, what happened? Whatever the objects are available, whatever the business logics are available, that means it may be methods also, classes also. Each and every business logic, each and every object will be identified with the help of a resource name. Because every object, every business logic, and then every functionality which we have implemented as part of this REST programming, that will be referred as a resource. Each and every resource will be identified by using a resource name. Then how can we access this resource name or resources over here? Whenever if you want to access these resources, suppose if you want to access this employee data, employee tables information, then we have to use the resource name as employees. That means what? Don't use this actual table names. Don't use this actual table names. The people are using this actual resource name. Why? Because security. Why? Because security. The third-party people will be aware of only these resource names, but internally which table it is connecting, they don't know. Okay, if I'm giving the same table name, okay, then the people can understand. So we are going to be collecting the data from this table. But here we are giving a different resource name. Okay, we are giving a different resource name. So based on this resource name, only they can able to identify my resource here. So internally, what is this? What is the object it is connecting? They don't know. Just they will know that resource name like as employees and the branches. Branches means what? Internally, in my view, that is departments. So at that time here, okay, at that time, the people will aware of only branches. So they will start out the data is there in the branch table, but actually the table name is department. So I don't want to disclose this actual table names to the third-party people. They will be aware of only some resource names. That's it. So resource names are nothing but the alias names which I'm providing for each and every object, for each and every business logic, and for each and every class. This is called as resource name. So we are going to be providing the resource names. Each and every object, each and every business logic, each and every class will be identified with the help of a resource name. So we are going to be providing the resource names over here. We are going to be using this resource name. Then how can we access this each and every resource? In order to access the resource, we are going to be using a URI. In order to access each and every resource, we have to use a URI. URI means what? Uniform Resource Identifier. Now, each and every resource can be identified by using a URI. In order to access each and every resource, we are going to be using this URI, that is Uniform Resource Identifier. Now, if you want to access these resources, then how can we access over here? So now in this case, whenever if you want to access this resource, then we have to use this URI. Okay, that means the path. How can we access that? We can specify HTTP, we can specify some sample.com / we can specify the resource name. Okay, each and every resource can be identified accessible with the help of this URI, which will be having this particular syntax here. We can able to access your application name up to this one, your application name / resource name, which what you would like to access employee. If you want to access this employee tables information, then we have to specify. Then we have to specify the URI, like HTTPS some sample.com / employees. Okay, employees. So that we can able to collect all the records available inside your employee object. Okay. Now, suppose if you want to get one specific employee over here, if you want to get one specific employee, then we can able to collect here. HTTPS sample.com / employees. Employees, we can specify the employee ID, some 1001, so that you will get only that particular employee information. Okay, you will get only that particular employee information. Only the employee ID 1001's information we can able to collect. That means what? Whatever the resources that we have, that means whatever the business logic you have implemented, whatever the functionalities you have implemented, whatever the objects that we have inside your system, everything we are going to be exposing to the third-party system in the form of resources. Each and every resource will be having a specific name that is called as resource name. In order to access the resources, the people has to use resource name always. So at that time, every resource can be accessible with the help of a URI, Uniform Resource Identifier. With the help of this resource URI, we can able to access each and every resource. Suppose if you want to access this department records information, then we have to use the URI like this. Like we have to specify HTTPS some sample.com / branches. That means it is returning all the department's information. If you want to get one specific department information, then we have to use that. HTTPS some sample.com / branches / the branch code 101. Like that, it will be returning only that particular branch information. So in this case, what happened? As part of this RESTful web services, each and every resource can be identified by using the resource name, and then every resource can be accessible with the help of this URI. That's what here when you go to the Salesforce instance, each and everything will be available in the form of that RESTful web services. Let me explain here. Let's go to your Salesforce instance. So now this is my URL, he is available here. I want to display the account records information. Then what we can do? How to get the account records information? 001. 001 means what? It's a resource name. For which object? Account. Okay, whenever I'm accessing the data for 001, the people will know 001 may be a table name, but what is the actual table name? Account. Account is a table, okay, for which Salesforce people has given the resource name as 001. Through this 001, we can able to access what records? Account object records. This is the RESTful web service concept internally Salesforce has followed. So now I want to collect the case records information. What we can do? All the case records 500. So 500 is the resource name, but the people will know 500. What is the internal table name? Case. They don't know that case object. Now, so in this case here, I'm giving like some 701. What do you mean by 701? Campaigns? So campaign records we can collect. And then I would like to collect 00Q. What is the 00Q? Leads. So it is returning lead records. So I'm going to be indicating 801. That means order records. All the order records we can able to see. I would like to fetch all the user records here, 005, like that user's information. Like that, what happened? These are the resource names, because these are the resource names for these objects. For each and every object, we are having the resource name. Like for example, here, I'm having this account object. This is the actual table name. Here's the table name here. And what is the actual resource name? You know that. Resource name. So account object is the table here. What is the resource name? 001. And the contact. What is the resource name? 003. And then opportunity object 006. Case object 500. Solution object 501. Lead object 00Q. Campaign object 701. Order object 801. User object 005. Task object 00T. Event object 00U. Group object 00G. Like that here, for each and every object, Salesforce has given a name, that is nothing but a ID. These are called as resource names internally. This is called as resource names. These are the resource name. Whenever if you want to get this account object record, then you can use 001. So if you want to collect that opportunity records, use the resource name as 006. To collect the user records, use the resource name 005. These are the resource names which have been given by Salesforce for each and every object. These are called as object IDs as part of Salesforce. These are nothing but the actual resource names. Okay, these are nothing but the actual resource name through which we can connect to the respective table, we can collect the data, and we can represent. Suppose if you want to collect one account record, then what we can do? If you want to collect this account record, then what we can do based on that account record ID. So now when you open this record, Arvind Kumar, it is indicating. Okay, so now it is indicating. See. Let me take the contact. So now when you click on this Cotton Phyllis, it is opening this record. So ep15.salesforce.com/record ID is available over here. So directly they can able to access that record. That means each and every resource can be accessible with the help of a resource name. So in this case, how we are accessing this each and every resource by using this URI. So here also, when you go to the RESTful web services also, so now each and every business logic, each and every functionality, each and every object will be identified by using the resource name. Why they are giving this kind of names is for security reasons. So for security reasons, they're giving this kind of. For the security reason, they're giving this kind of. To now get in this case, the people will be accessing the employee data by using this name employees. But internal table name is what? Employees. But they don't know what exactly the table name, just they know that resource name over here. And they would like to access the department's data over here. For that one, they are using the resource name as branches. But internal table name is what? Department. So they don't know the actual table name, but they know only the resource name. With the help of this resource name only, they can able to access each and every resource over there. Because they can access each and every resource by using the resource name only. So whenever if they want to access each and every resource, then you have to use the URI. With the help of this URI only, we can able to access each and every resource. That's what here, for example, if you want to access your Visual Force pages here, then what we can do, we have to specify slash Apex. Apex means what? Resource. Okay, resource. Apex is nothing but a resource, okay, in which we're having so many Visual Force pages. What is that page you want to access? You can specify set account records page here, so that we can able to access this resource. This is how we are going to be accessing each and every functionality. Because whatever the web Salesforce implementation is available, that is purely built upon RESTful implementation. Okay, we have to specify the URL, and then we have to specify slash Apex. That means Apex means which will be having some set of Visual Force pages, and then access each and every Visual Force page by using the Visual Force page name. Like the similar way here also, branches slash 101. In that branches table, whatever the branch record is available with the name 101, that record we can able to access here. Now in this case, by using this URL, we can able to fetch the data here. Then how can we perform the operations? So now how we are accessing this one with the help of HTTP protocol. Okay, with the help of HTTP protocol. Then what you want to do in this case here? Okay, what you want to do in this case? You want to access that record, or you want to insert the record, you want to update the record, you want to delete the record, or what you want to do. For that one here, as part of this HTTP protocol, we are having the various methods are available. HTTP protocol is providing the various methods. So what are the various methods given by HTTP protocol? HTTP protocol is providing the various methods. Get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete method. These are the various methods are available as part of this HTTP class. As part of this HTTP protocol, it is providing the various methods. That means through this URI, what you are going to do, you are going to insert a record, you are going to update the record, you are going to delete the record, you are going to retrieve the record, or what you want to do. For that one, we have to indicate that the method name also. So what is this get method here? Get method is nothing but retrieving the record. Nothing but select the record here. Retrieve. Nothing but select the record here. Post is nothing but insert. Post in the sense insert operation. Put is nothing but update operation. Put in the sense update operation. That means we are going to be updating the record. We are going to update the records. Patch in the sense upset the records. Upset operation. And then delete in the sense to delete the records. So that here, whenever if you want to perform the operations on this particular object record, then we have to indicate that HTTP method also. Okay, we have to indicate the HTTP method also. Through this HTTP method, we can able to perform the respective operations. So in this case, whenever if you want to perform the operations on these particular resources, we have to specify the HTTP method. So which method you would like to use. So this method is going to be indicating what kind of operation you are performing on this particular resource. Now, So now here, as part of this HTTP protocol, we are having the various methods are available, like the get method, post method, put method, patch method, and the delete method. These are the various methods are available as part of this HTTP protocol, which we can able to use to indicate what kind of operations you are going to do with the help of this URI. By using this URI, we are specifying this what you are going to do. You are going to insert the record, update the record, delete the record, upset the record, or what. We have to indicate that. Okay, so this is the internal implementation of RESTful web services. Now, so now here in this case here. So what we can do in this case, how to implement that? Now let's see. Now, let me give the notepad. In REST web services, each object, comma, business logic, and the class and functionalities should be implemented in the form of a resource. In the form of a resource. Each resource should be identified by using a resource name. Each and every resource should be identified by using a resource name. The developer can provide the resource name based on the every resource can be accessible. Every resource can be accessible by using a URI. Uniform resource identifier. Uniform resource identifier. Like for example, we can specify HTTPS. We can specify some sample.com/resource name. Resource name. By using the resource name only, we can able to identify. So that we have to follow that URI, and then by using that URI, we can able to access each and every resource. Now, to access the resources, we have to specify the HTTP method, which indicates what type of operation the user wants to perform on the resource. HTTP protocol provides the below methods. First one is get, second one is post, third one is put, fourth one is patch, fifth one is delete. These are the various methods that are available. Get method is used to retrieve the records. Post method is used to insert the records. So records into the resource. Nothing but object. To retrieve records from the resource or object. Put method is used to update the records into the resource. Patch method is used to perform both insert plus update operation. Update operations on the resource. That means this is like as a upsert operation. Delete method is used to delete the records from the object or resource. These are the 5 methods has been given by the HTTP protocol. We are having get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete method. These are the 5 methods are available. Then how can we use this one? And then, so that already we have discussed that when coming to the RESTful web services, each and every functionality should be implemented in the form of a resource. Each and every resource can be identified by using a resource name. Every resource can be identified by using a resource name, which can be accessible over the internet by using HTTP protocol with the help of a URI. Now, so in this case here, whenever we are going to retrieving the information, okay, whenever you are retrieving the information, in which format these RESTful web services will return the result. So how these RESTful web services will be exposing the data to the third-party system in the form of what? Now, in this case, REST-based web services can provide the results in the form of XML or JSON or text. These are the 3 formats it will support over here. But from this one, most of the cases we used to go with that JSON. You know what exactly the JSON format, how to collect the JSON format of content, how to parse it. Now, so in this case, whenever we are going to be creating the RESTful web services, we have to use some annotations. Okay, we have to use some annotations. What are the various annotations that we are using as part of this RESTful web services? Now let's see. Let me place this one so that you can understand. So this is the way we are going to be accessing each and every RESTful web service. Then how can we implement our own RESTful web services? Now let's see practically. Whenever we are going to be creating your own web services, that means web services means what? Custom classes which we are exposing to the third-party system. Then how can we do that? So for that reason here, as part of this RESTful web services, it is providing the various annotations. Okay? We have the various annotations are available. Upon creating the RESTful web services, we have to use the below annotations. annotations. We have totally 6 annotations are available. First one is @REST resource. @REST resource annotation, which is used to indicate the resource name. Each and every annotation we'll see separately. We have @HTTP GET. And the third one, @HTTP POST. Fourth one, @HTTP PUT. @HTTP patch. And @HTTP delete. These are the 6 annotations we're using. It's a common question in every interview. So they will raise a question, have you worked on integrations or not? Yes, we have to say yes. So what type of integration that we do? REST or SOAP. Then you have to explain REST. Because here nowadays everybody is using REST implementation, not SOAP. SOAP is very old one. So now we have used REST. Then they will raise a question, okay, have you simply consumed the web service or have you developed your own web service? And then you can say yes, both. Previously, we have discussed how to consume the web services. Now we are preparing our own web services here, which can be consuming by third-party people, other people will consume. So in this case, upon using these web services, upon preparing your own web services, what are the various annotations you are using? It's a common question. So you should be able to explain that we have 6 annotations are available as part of web services upon preparing the RESTful web services. First one is @REST resource. Second one, HTTP GET. Third one, HTTP POST. Fourth one, HTTP PUT. Fifth one, HTTP patch. Sixth one, HTTP delete. These are the 6 annotations are available which we are going to be using. These are the 6 annotations are available which we are going to be using as part of our implementation. Then how can we use this each and every resource, each and every annotation? Now let's see practically in this case. Then what exactly the REST resource, what exactly the HTTP GET, HTTP POST, HTTP PUT, everything we'll see one by one, along with some practical examples also. How to prepare the web services, how to test it also we'll see. Now, so whenever you are creating your own web services, we have to use this. Suppose to consume the web services, what needs to be done? We have to use HTTP classes. What are those classes? HTTP class, HTTP request class, HTTP response class. These are the 3 classes we have to use along with the JSON parser classes over there. Then what exactly the REST resource annotation? Now let's see. @REST resource. So what exactly the REST resource annotation over here? Now, basically, whenever we are going to be exposing a class, okay, whenever we are going to be exposing a class to the third-party application, then we have to use this annotation called as @REST resource. So for example here, previously we have implemented, this is the class which I have prepared. So now this class, I want to make it accessible, okay, to the third-party applications also. Then how can we inform to that Salesforce that this is the class which I have prepared? Please make this class can be accessible by third-party applications also. So this class is a global class, of course, fine. So now global in the sense third-party applications can't access. Global in the sense these classes can be accessible within the organization and outside of the organization also by using Salesforce resources. But if you want to make this class can be accessible by the third-party application, then we have to inform this class. Nothing but we have to, the third-party people should access this class by using what? By using a resource name. Because here we see the class is also called as resource. How they can access? By using this resource name. How can we provide that resource name over here? In this case, we have to specify @REST resource. @REST resource annotation. This can be available. This can be specified only for the class level. This can be specified only for the class level to provide the resource name. Then how can we specify? We have to specify by using the resource name. What is that name they would like to provide? You can specify URL mapping. URL mapping is a parameter which is used to specify the name of that particular resource here. So what is the name that you want to provide? Then you can specify here. URL mapping equals to, we can specify the resource name. Okay, we can specify that resource name over here. So for example, I want to provide simply accounts. or accounts service. You can give any name over here. Star. So now here I'm indicating this here. So now whenever the people wants to access this particular class, they have to use that name as accounts service. But they don't know the actual class name. My actual class name was okay accounts helper. But they're accessing my class with the help of a name called as what? Accounts service. That means I'm giving a different name, but the people don't know what exactly my class name over there. They don't know what exactly my class name because I want to hide it. I don't want to disclose my actual class name to the third-party people. Might be they will use some other third-party tools to hack my data. For that reason, I'm not exposing my actual class names. I'm going to be giving some resource name. Through that resource name only they can access over here. So in this case, what are the rest of the class that you would like to expose to the third-party people? That class should be that class should be defined with the help of an annotation called as @rest resource. In that one, we have to indicate the resource name. That means if the third-party people wants to call this class, then what is the resource name they have to use? So this is the resource name they have to use. That is accounts service. They can't access my class by using the class name. They can access only by using resource name over here. So in this case, @rest resource annotation is used to expose a class to the third-party applications. In order to expose a class to the third-party applications, we are going to be using this annotation called as @rest resource, which contains some set of business logic inside it. So this class contains what? Some set of methods, some set of business logic is available here. So now always a REST class should be defined with the global access specified. That means whatever the web service class that you want to implement, that class should be always defined with global access specified, because this will be accessing with the third-party application so that it can be accessible from the outside of the organization also. So we have to define with global access specified. And then on the top of this class, we have to specify the annotation @rest resource. In that one, we have to specify the name of that resource here. You can give any resource name, whatever you want, ABC, XYZ, anything you can provide. That facility is available over here. Now, so now here in this case, now let me give you that information @rest resource. Now, this annotation is used to expose an Apex class, or business logic class to the third-party applications. This annotation is used to expose an Apex class or a third-party class to the third-party, the Apex class or business logic class to the third-party applications. Now, inside the class, we can provide the required business logic. We can provide the required business logic in the form of various methods. Now, so whenever we are going to be exposing a class to the third-party applications, then always a web service class should be defined with a global access specifier. Always web service class should be defined with global access specifier. Always web service class should be defined with global access specifier. Now, we have to specify the resource name for the class by using @rest resource annotation. REST resource annotation on top of the class. As below. Then what is the syntax here? Now let me explain. We have to specify @rest resource. Here we can define that class here. Global class name. We can write the business logic inside this, whatever you want. Write the business logic, whatever you want inside this class. Be preparing the various methods. Here we can able to specify @REST resource URL mapping. That means whenever if you want to access this class, what is the URL? That means what is the resource name that you want to use. So we can able to specify that, okay, URL mapping. In that URL mapping parameter, we have to specify that resource name. Specify the resource name /star. That means this can be accessible by any third-party application or so on. So we have to give that resource name over. Now, any resource name we can provide whatever you want. Now, for example, I'm having a class, global class accounts manager class, which is having some business logic inside this. Write the business logic inside this. And then this class I want to define with the help of an annotation. REST resource. Here I would like to specify URL mapping. URL mapping equals to, we can specify accounts service. Accounts service /star. Now, so this is the resource name here. I'm giving this resource name. So you can give any name for your resource, but the resource name should be always a single word, not multiple. It should not have any spaces. Resource name should be always a single word. It should not have any spaces over there. So we can give any resource name whatever you want. Now, I'm preparing one more resource here. Global class common helper. Write the business logic. Write the business logic. And make this class as web service by using an annotation @REST resource. Whenever we are going to be prefixing the class with @REST resource, then it is a RESTful web service. This is a RESTful web service. How can we access each and every resource by using resource name? What is the resource name for this one? We can able to indicate that common service. Common service /star. This is the way we can able to prepare that, okay, RESTful web services. And then here in this case, how can we access each and every resource? How can we access each and every resource over here? How can we access each and every resource? Whenever if you want to access the resource, we have to specify accessing the resource. How can we access each and every resource? Each and every resource can be accessible with the help of an URI. Through the URI, with the help of this HTTP protocol, we can able to invoke that web service over here. Then how can we access it? Now,
Sir?
We can access or invoke each resource by using a URI. By using a URI.
Hello, Firoz.
Yes.
Screen got disconnected.
Is it visible now? Now
Yes.
it is working as it is. Yeah. So now here in this case, whenever if you want to access each and every resource, then we have to use an URI which can be accessible over the HTTP protocol. How can we access this each and every resource? Now let me explain the syntax. As part
Sir,
of
a
the
small doubt,
Salesforce.
sir.
Yes.
On the above, you have written @resource REST resource, and you have given the URL mapping is equal to use resource name. Can we direct queue their what do we call it? Paste the URL if we are having any URL in the way which we are accessing the account and read.
Directly we can't access. If you want to access this particular business logic class, if you want to access this class, then we have to use this URI. I will give that information. If you want to access this each and every resource, we have to specify the protocol. We have to give this URI. HTTP, we can HTTPS, we can use, and then you can specify your server number. salesforce.com/services/apex rest/ you can specify your resource. This is the resource URI which we need to use to access this. That means for the third-party people, we are giving this URL so that they can able to access my resource. The third-party people wants to access this particular resource, like as a common helper class, then they have to use like this. They have to use the URL like this: https like some ap16.salesforce.com/services/apex rest/ what is that service resource name? Common service. Okay, they have to access it. This is the URI they have to use. The third-party people has to use this URI in order to access my class. Previously, what happened when you go to our HTTP classes? So we have consumed from third-party web services. How we have consumed the third-party web services? By using that URL. This is the URL we have used. That means somebody has implemented this application, somebody has implemented these classes, and we have consumed these web services over here by using that the class name like as resource name like as weather by passing some parameters over here. So now we are preparing our own web services here. These web services can be accessible. So if they want to access my class that is common helper, they have to use this URL. Suppose if they want to access this particular class accounts manager, they have to use this separate URL here. What is the URL for this one? They have to use this. What is the resource name? Accounts service. Okay, they have to access each and every resource. So whenever if the third-party people wants to access your resources, then they have to use that URI. So now the URI will be looking like this: your server number. That means whatever the Salesforce account in which you have implemented this web service, that server number, and then the salesforce.com/services. We are implementing some web services over here, which are Apex-based RESTful web services, and this is the resource name which we can able to access it. So third-party people has to access this particular class by using this URL. Otherwise, they can't access. They don't know my class name, nothing. Simply, we are giving this URL to those people. Those people will be connecting to our Salesforce instance, and they can able to access my resource over here. Then how can we access this resource over here? Whenever if they want to access these resources, then we can able to test this web services, or we can able to invoke this web services just by using the various tools are available in the market here. We're having the various tools are available here. Now we can invoke or test the REST web services by using the below tools. We have the various tools are available here in the internet. The first one is we can use the Workbench tool in order to invoke your web service. Second one, Postman tool. We can use this Postman tool also in order to test it. And the HP QTP. The QTP tool also we can able to use to test the web service. And through Apex programming, also we can able to invoke this web service. And we can able to invoke this web services by using third-party applications. And the sixth one is by using integration tools. Like for example, we can able to use the integration tools like some Tipo, Web Methods, CBeyond, Microsoft BizStack, and the MoonSoft from Salesforce. Like that, we are having so many integration tools are available. With those integration tools also, we can able to invoke these web services. So these are the various ways are available in order to invoke your web services here. Whenever if you want to invoke your web service, we have to use these tools. Either you can use that Workbench tool also, either we can able to use that Postman tool or HP QTP, or by using Apex programming also we can able to invoke these web services, and then by using third-party applications also, by using integration tools also we can able to invoke these web services. These are the various ways. Now, so in this case, whenever we are going to preparing the RESTful web services, first of all, we have to define a global class. Inside that global class, we can define the methods. Also, we'll see how to define the methods. We'll see in the next session. And then we have to make this class can be accessible from the third-party applications by using that annotation called as @REST resource. And then we can specify the resource name. And along with that, the people can able to access my resource by using this resource URI. So this is the URI which they have to follow in order to test my web service, in order to test my invoke my web services, so that they can able to get the response in the form of JSON format. Okay, so this is the base functionality. And then how can we use the various HTTP methods like as HTTP GET, HTTP POST, HTTP patch, HTTP delete? We'll see practically in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, we'll see how can we prepare the web services by using those methods, how to perform the operations, how can we test it, everything we'll see practically with the help of this workbench tool. So through this workbench tool, I will show you how can we perform this operation. And for that web services, suppose here we are passing some parameters over here. Like as Q is one city name, second one we are passing application ID. How to pass the parameters to the web services also, we'll see practically in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, we'll see the concept of creating our own web services and testing the web services, passing the parameters to the web services by using the REST context class. By using the REST context class, we can pass some parameters also over here. For that one, we are using REST request and the REST response classes also. How to use them, we'll see practically in tomorrow's session. Okay. So both of this information today, tomorrow we'll see the practical implementation of RESTful web services, how to use each and every annotation. We'll see practically one by one with some practical examples, and I will be giving some assignments also on this one so that you can do the practice as well.